It's been about a month now since Nintendo announced Echoes of Wisdom, the next game in the Zelda series and the first new 2D Zelda game since Triforce Heroes over 9 years ago. On the day the trailer dropped, I released a brief analysis video going over some of the things that I noticed while watching the trailer. But there was one thing I didn't mention because I felt like it deserved its own video. You've all seen the thumbnail and read the title, so I'm not going to beat around the bush anymore. I don't think Ganon is the villain in this game. I know that's a bit of a bold claim since we literally see him in the trailer fighting Link, but hear me out. I just want to take a few minutes of your time to explain why I think that the threat we're facing in Echoes of Wisdom is far bigger than any of us realize. So let's start with the big question. Why do I think that Ganon isn't the villain? I mean, he's in the trailer, he's on the cover art, it would just make sense for him to be the villain, right? Well, no, not really. Let's take a look at the trailer again. Notice that Ganon only appears in the beginning, with Zelda trapped in a crystal and Link needing to rescue her. Actually, now that I think about it, how many times has this happened? Like, 3 times now?
If I had a nickel for every time Zelda was trapped in a crystal, I'd have 3 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened thrice.
I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's the fact that Ganon appears at the beginning that's bothering me. Why is he here? I think it's safe to assume that since we see footage of Link fighting Ganon, we're going to be playing as Link for a short period of time before we play as Zelda. We're starting the game when Link is finishing his quest. It's an interesting choice. Why would we be starting the game by fighting who we can only assume to be the final boss? Why would Ganon be both the first and the final boss? He isn't. I'm not entirely sure what this trope is called, or even if it is a trope to begin with, but I've seen something like this at least 2 times before that I can recall, and ironically, it's with the same character, Bowser. Let's take a quick look at one of my favorite games from when I was a kid, Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. For those of you who haven't played the game, Bowser's Inside Story starts with Mario and Luigi visiting Peach's castle to attend a meeting about a disease known as the Blorbs that's been spreading among the Toads. Bowser then swoops in and interrupts the meeting, only for Mario to send him packing. Bowser then ends up eating a vacuum shroom that he's tricked into eating by the villain, Fawful. It causes him to mindlessly begin inhaling everything, and when he returns to the castle, he inhales the main cast, shrinking them down to a microscopic size. I'm not going to go into every detail of the plot, but it eventually all culminates with Mario, Luigi, and Bowser working together to fight Fawful and a clone of Bowser called Dark Bowser. Another more recent example, and I say that with heavy quotes, is Super Mario RPG. That game starts off with Bowser kidnapping Peach and Mario having to go rescue her. Mario beats Bowser up and rescues Peach, only for the Smithy gang to drop in from the sky and take over Bowser's keep. Realizing that they have a common enemy, Bowser teams up with Mario and the gang to defeat Smithy and save the Mushroom Kingdom. I bring this up because if this can happen with Nintendo's most iconic villain twice, then who's to say it can't happen to Nintendo's second most iconic villain? I can call Ganon that, right? I mean, like, who else is there? Mother Brain, Andross, Ridley? Ridley's probably third. The second thing I want to bring up is the box art. While Zelda is front and center, it should be worth noting that both Link and Ganon are centered slightly above her. Now, most Zelda box art, as well as most game box art in general, follows the same rule. Put the main character front and center with other important characters around them. I think the position of Link and Ganon here is interesting. They're next to each other. I think this is supposed to convey a sense of connection between the two. This wouldn't be the first time Nintendo has done something like this for Zelda box art. With Twilight Princess HD, normal Link and Wolf Link are placed next to each other, as if to say, these two are the same character. In addition, we see Midna and Zelda directly above them with their backs together, as if to say that they're linked in some way. Furthermore, notice how they both have the same purple aura around them, once again creating some kind of connection between the two. I think what the cover is trying to convey is that both Link and Ganon are trapped within the strange rifts, and that Zelda will need to figure out a way to save them both. Now, I want to get something completely clear. I'm not suggesting that Ganon will become a good guy or propose a stalemate with Link and Zelda to take care of a common threat. While I'd like to see it, I don't think it'll ever happen. I do, however, think that Ganon will end up lending his strength to Zelda in one way or another, whether he likes it or not. It's a pretty popular belief at this point that Zelda will create an echo of Ganon at the end of the game to use against the final boss, be it Ganon or somebody else entirely. Is there any real evidence to support this? Well, at the moment, no. Am I still gonna suggest it'll happen? Yeah, why not? I mean, you don't just create a system where you can create echoes of enemies and not allow the player to create an echo of Ganon. Well, I mean, you can, but it'd be stupid. The last thing that I want to mention is the rifts themselves. I don't think these are explicitly caused by Ganon. Granted, the first rift does emerge from his trident upon defeat, so it could be argued that this is some kind of backup plan. Ganon has always been a cold, calculating villain, so this seems like something he would do, right? Well, take a look at this shot from the trailer. For a few seconds, we see Zelda running away from a fast-moving rift consuming everything in its path. It almost seems to be destroying anything it comes into contact with, or at the very least, pulling it into a new dimension. Why do I bring this up? Well, it's because, at least to me, this doesn't seem like it fits Ganon's typical modus operandi. In most games, Ganon has a similar goal, and if you watched my last video, you know exactly what I'm gonna say here. To take the Triforce and use it to take over the world. To suddenly say that Ganon is the one behind these world-destroying rifts doesn't make a lot of sense to me. No, I think something or someone else is pulling the strings from behind the scene, possibly some malevolent force seeking destruction and chaos as revenge for being trapped within the rift dimension for so long. So, here's how I think things are gonna play out. After collecting the 7 or 8 important items in the game, possibly called the Echoes of Wisdom, Zelda will find out where Link is being held captive. Together, she and Tri will make it there, only to find Link and Ganon, revealing to the player that Ganon isn't the one behind the rifts. Then, Zelda will fight the true villain, who, if I had to guess, wants to use the Triforce to destroy the world and remake it in their own image or something like that. Zelda will then possibly create an echo of Ganon to truly beat them, undoing all the rifts and bringing peace back to Hyrule. The end. Or, the next trailer will prove me wrong entirely. I mean, it hasn't been the first time.